On behalf of the Prabha Khaitan Foundation and Ehsaas Women of Kolkata, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this evening's event, Kitaab, a significant initiative of the Foundation. This evening's event is the unveiling of the book, History That India Ignored, by veteran journalist and ANI chairman, Shri Prem Prakash. The book chronicles the sacrifices, resilience, and determination that shaped India's struggle for independence, shedding light on lesser-known events and unsung heroes. These are the people who played a pivotal role in the nation's freedom movement. Prabha Khaitan Foundation is a Kolkata-based non-profit trust that started in Kolkata and has now spread its wings throughout the country and even beyond our boundaries. Prabha Khaitan Foundation is known for organizing the finest literary and cultural experiences through a diverse range of activities that include author interactions, book launches, literary festivals, panel discussions, intimate cultural gatherings, and captivating performances of music, dance, and theatre. Kitaab is an important initiative of the Foundation that offers authors a platform to present their new works to an insightful and discerning audience. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest author this evening, Shri Prem Prakash, a veteran Indian journalist with a career spanning 75 plus years. He is the founder and chairman of ANI, India's premier multimedia news agency. He has worked with foreign broadcasters in France, Germany, and the United States, who were all pioneers of their time. He was also a member of the founding team of London's Viz News in 1957, one of the earliest global news agencies. He is known for his reporting from the front lines, particularly in the 1962 India-China War and the 1965 and 1971 India-Pakistan wars. Covering landmark events across the globe, Prem Prakash has witnessed history unfold through his lens. He started his own media agency to counter the stereotyped image of India being projected by Western media. Today, he devotes his time to writing, bringing his wealth of experience and perspective to readers. May I now invite you, Shri Prem Prakash to the stage. Guest this evening is the Honorable Minister for Education, Shri Basu. He has been a member of the Legislative Assembly from the Dum constituency since 2011. Besides his political career, he has also been a college professor and is a well-known actor, stage director, film director, and playwright. He is presently the chairperson of the Paschim Bongo Bangla Academy and the Minerva Natya Sanskriti Chorcha Kendra under the Department of Information and Cultural Affairs. May I invite Shri Basu to the stage, please. I would now like to introduce this evening's guest of honor, Mr. Kunal Ghosh, Indian politician and journalist, and a former member of parliament representing West Bengal in the Rajya Sabha. His first byline story was in the Patrika of the Anand Bazar group. He then worked for multiple papers, including Ajkal's Khala Patrika. He also holds the position of senior editor, Shangbad Pratidin newspaper. We invite Mr. Kunal Ghosh to the stage. We would now like to introduce the gentleman who will take the evening forward, Mr. Arindam Sil. Arindam Sil is an Indian actor, film director, and line producer working mainly in Bengali films. His directorial ventures include Ebar Shobor, Bomkesh Gotro, and Mitin Mashi. In a career spanning 2 decades, he has appeared in close to 40 films as an actor. We would now like to invite Mr. Sheel to the stage. Prabha Khaitan Foundation is known for promoting local artisans by endorsing their products. Today our guests will be felicitated with terracotta products. Terracotta products have a long and rich tradition not only in Bengal but in many parts of our country. With roots in ancient times and is characterized by the use of locally available clay to create sculptures and objects for domestic use. Today, this living tradition continues through many communities of artisans. Our guests on stage will now be felicitated with terracotta artifacts by Esha Dutta, Ehsaas Women of Kolkata, and Anindita Chatterjee, Executive Trustee of the Foundation.
Sir. First. Sir.
We will now have the formal release of the book, and may I request the Honorable Minister, Shri Bratya Basu, the Chief Guest this evening, to formally do the honors, and may I request other members on the dais to join in the launch. We now request the Honorable Minister and Chief Guest this evening, Shri Bratya Basu, to say a few words.
Thank you to all. Thank you, Prem Prakash, to invite me to here, and I am very much glad to see that Arindam Sil and Mr. Kunal Ghosh, Arindam and Kunal, my old friend, and recently we worked together. The last film of Arindam, directed by Arindam, and again we are here, my friends from the media, distinguished person. Prem Prakash, you know that he is a veteran journalist and he is a long-time contributor in Indian media. So I went through this book thoroughly, and I liked the book very much because it is the two, I probably know the Greek tragedy, the famous word hamartia. Hamartia means, the cause which tragedy creates. So the hamartia of the Indian subcontinent, and the partition, the main two hamartia affected the Bengal and Punjab. This is two states. It was divided. Actually, the partition means only two states divided, India and Punjab, Bengal and Punjab. And the Bengal's history after that, it was very complex, very critical, and politically turmoil, tumultuous. Even in Punjab. But there was a factor Mr. Prem Prakash depicted. He mentioned particularly in 1914 when Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi came from South Africa and joined Indian freedom fight. He's saying he depicted in very vividly how Gandhi changed the Indian freedom movement through his non-cooperation and non-violence. And but later on he mentioned a very, very interesting information. After the partition, when Clement Attlee, the former Prime Minister of England, he came to in this Calcutta Raj Bhavan for a small tour. And that time Honorary Mukherjee, he was dead, the former governor, and at that time Mr. P.N. Chakraborty, Phanindranath Chakraborty, the Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court, he is and the acting governor at the time. So P.N. Chakraborty was asked, P.N. Chakraborty asked Attlee, what is the role of, is it the role of Gandhi that you left India so soon? Because we all know that 48 actually was our London both house has decided that we will give the freedom India, but it is in 1948, not in 47. But it was earlier, it was happening in 47. So Attlee asked, Attlee was asked by P.N. Chakraborty, is it Gandhi? P.N. Chakraborty said, what is his function? What is his role? And Prem Prakash beautifully depicted that Attlee gave a very mysterious mind. And he said the Gandhi's role was minimal. Later on, he tried to say in this book that actually the freedom was carried by that freedom fighters who believed in violence. He mentioned Andaman Cellular Jail. He mentioned the Bengalis freedom fighters like Barin Ghosh, like Ullas Kartatto, like Hemchandra Das Kanungo, Sutresen, separately Sutresen. Sutresen was in 1932, and his party was actually it was BV party, Bengal Volunteers Party, Juvantar just after Onishnan Samiti. But he mentioned also about Binayak Damodar Savarkar. But Sir, which didn't mention the Savarkar, gave 5 times undertaking to the Britishers to come out from the jail. But which Barin Ghosh or Ullas Kartatto didn't do that. I.B. Rai, Hindubhushan Rai, the man from Chandanagar, he was completely mad and committed suicide to not being taking the torture of the Britishers. Ullas Kartatto, going mad, he took in a prison of Madraj, in asylum. He specially mentioned, which I like, Bhagat Singh. How Bhagat Singh killed Sandars. Why? Because that history was unknown. I came through this book. That Sandars actually, the Lala Lajpat Rai, the old veteran Congress leader, who made one movement, and the Britishers, they such a brutally they beaten up Lala Lajpat Rai. His kidney was failed, and he was going to die. Bhagat Singh and his partners, Sukhdev. So Bhagat Singh was a Punjabi Hindu, Punjabi Sikh. Sukhdev, his partner, was a Marathi Hindu. He came from Maharashtra. And Putukeshwar Datta is a Pravasi Bangali from Delhi. Actually, he was a man of Bardhaman. That incident we all know. Bollywood made a film twice, Bhagat Singh. But what Bengali we did, we never created film like Bhagat Singh. He is a famous director there. Well, we may request him to create a character in Putukeshwar Datta. I did it in my theatre. The theatre is called Boma. Kunal have watched it. The Boma is the 1908, the Alipur Conspire case, and Arvind Ghosh famous IS, and Indian, later on Indian Rishi, Yogi, and his younger brother Parin, him, Ullash, how they created the Alipur case. The point one point I must mention, the historians doesn't mention it. I went through the history. You can never show me, we can never single piece. I have seen Savarkar accused Gandhi like anything. Muhammad Ali Jinnah accused Gandhi like anything. But can you show me one piece where Savarkar is criticizing Jinnah and Jinnah is criticizing Savarkar? In a lot of history books, I didn't get it anywhere. That means that communal people, they know communal people. Jinnah is silent about Savarkar, Savarkar is silent about Jinnah. They all criticize Gandhi. Another aspect of this book, the Kakori train conspiracy. The famous Asfaqullah Khan, they did it. If you go through these pieces, you will enjoy how Asfaqullah and Ramchandra Bismil, they created Kakori case. And there is another aspect, there is earlier aspect. Sir has shown us how Alexander came, Puru, the fight between Alexander and Puru. Later on, Muhammad Gouri came. The fight between the Greco-Indo fight, it was opposed by Indians. But Muhammad Gouri, couldn't resist him. He mentioned the man, the Joy Chand, the Mirzafar kind of people. He actually ployed the game. But I firmly believe Muhammad Gouri or Babu, Prem Prakash ji mentioned the Guru Nanak's hymn about where the Babur was showing a very cruel, dangerous man. But where the invaders go, all are cruel. If we go the Britishers in India, they are cruel. When the Europeans are going to Latin America, when they occupied Argentina or Brazil, the Portuguese invaders or Latin American invaders, all are cruel. Invaders are cruel. Alexander also cruel. There is a comparison between Alexander and Gouri, but I firmly believe they all are same. I must congratulate Prem Prakash how he just came out from this book, the unsung story of our great revolutionaries, particularly in Bengal arena, not being a Bengali, how he owed Bengali people, how he gave salute to Bengali people. I am really we are all obliged and grateful to sir.
I'm an Indian, sir, like you.
So that he is here. But we are Indian, of course, and we all are regional identity. That's also true, sir. So I know in the emergency period, you have suffered from our state, from our country, how you flew, and how you created when the war was going on in Indo-China war. After that, you created how I gone through your life. It's a very interesting life. It's a very challenging life. And now he's a Mahikan, he's a legend, and we are all grateful that we are here and that take participation to inaugurate this book, History that India ignored, but we can't ignore Mr. Prem Prakash. Thank you, namaskar.
Thank you, Mr. Basu. We now request Shri Kunal Ghosh, the guest of honor this evening, to share his thoughts with us.
Namaskar. Honorable veteran journalist Prem Prakash, Honorable Education Minister Dr. Basu, Director Arindam Sil, President of Press Club of India Sri Gautam Lahiri, President of Kolkata Press Club Snehasis, Secretary of Kolkata Press Club Kingshuk, Pramanik, Mr. Rupak, Barua, and other dignitaries. see, after Bratya's explanation, nothing have to say about this book. This is history that India ignored. I went through the book. It has historic value, but we have some point of differences, as Bratya said, related to Sri Savarkar issue. Some points are there, sir. But we are thankful to Prem Prakash ji, how he portrayed the Bengali freedom fighters in this book. Because we know names of some freedom fighters, but almost 99% Bengali freedom fighters, they are ignored in history. Totally.
Because they believed in violent method.
Right. We know Netaji Subhash Chandra Basu. We know Binoy Badal Dinesh. All are there in this book. We know Baha Jyotin. We know Mashtadar Shurjo Sen. Many names are there. But men like Ullashkar Dutta, the Bengali freedom fighters, their contribution must be reflected in national level. What Sri Prem Prakash he has done. Other names are there. Many names are there. Sir, if possible, in next edition, you kindly consider about Rani Shiromani, Queen Shiromani of Karnagar in West Bengal,
West Midnapur, Yarwal.
Midnapur, in West Midnapur today. She was the first lady who fought against British. Even 60 years before Jhansi Rani Lakhibai of Jhansi done. The Battle of Lakhibai was in 1857, but Battle of Rani Shiromani took place in 1797, just 60 years before, and the history is almost same. After the death of Maharaja Ajit Singh, British tried their best to grab the Karnagar. And Karnagar, where is Karnagar? That is Jungle Mahal. Adivashis are there. And this Rani Shiromani, she was a Adivashi lady. She fought like anything. That was the period of Chuar Bidroho, Sannyashi Bidroho, that period. She has been defeated, and then again that story of betrayal from own camp. And she had been taken to Alipur. There was a trial. She was taken into custody. And she, that lady, sir, please consider the name of Rani Shiromani in this history that India ignored in your next edition. She was the first lady from Jungle Mahal, from India, from Bengal. So best wishes for this book, especially from page 187 to 175 to 187. In this book, we found Netaji to all, but especially from 175 to 187, I found your detailed research about Bengali revolutionaries. So special thanks to you, sir. And that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think the people who are...
Just one second, I will take time. Please give me the privilege. So, Kunal reminds me, there is another aspect Mr. Prem Prakash ji, he picked up, the 1806 Vellore Mutiny.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very important for our freedom fight, because 1857, you know, when it started in Barakpur. Before that, 1806, there's a Vellore Mutiny, the Sipahi was saying, did the same thing. But again, Tipu Sultan's son couldn't carry this mutiny, so it was flopped like 1857. But 1857, actually, all are saying is 90 years back. It is the first spark of the 90 years back. This is the first spark. It was Sipahi mutiny. But before that, Vellore mutiny is also important. And again, Egon sir said a beautiful line. We didn't go through actually South India also. So how South India, actually Indian history is a North Indian history, which actually sir wanted to say. Thank you, thank you.
I think the people who have read the book have excited others well enough that they will all want to really read the book now. It is definitely a very exciting book, and I'm sure all of you are going to have a great time going through it. May I now request the Honorable Minister and Shri Ghosh to kindly take their seats in the first row so that we can begin the program. And I will now hand over to Arindam Sil to take us through the evening. So Arindam, it's now over to you.
A very good evening.
Before we started, I first of all, my apologies that Rani Shiromani has not been mentioned in the book. But I'll say my explanation for that is that I'm lucky that I've got all these names. You know why? Because, as I mentioned earlier in this book also, the British burned all the files when they were leaving India. You know why did they burn it? Because there were names of the collaborators in it. People who gave them information.
Yes, Indian.
Indians. Our tragedy has been that India, not only from the time of Jaichand, up to today, you know, at Pahalgam, we have arrested many people after Pahalgam. What was our intelligence doing before that? Pahalgam should never have taken place. But that apart, I was lucky that I had a very good gentleman who was the Dean of a university in UK, an Indian, Arindam Sil, who helped me with the India Office Library. And at the India Office Library, they have maintained the files intact. Because all these papers used to go to India Office. If there was anything happening in India, a copy went to there. Those papers were intact there. That's how I could get all the information. And I'll certainly make up for other things, anything I missed.
Thank you, sir. So the idea is when one is on, the other will have to be off. ऐसे ही होगा हम लोग मिल बांट लेंगे सर. It's a complete honor that I'm here sharing the dais with Prem Prakash ji. He is a patriot who stands tall. And while doing our discussion and till the end of it, I will come to that. And of course, I was extremely happy and honored to be sharing the dais with my two friends, the Honorable Minister Bratya, and journalist and politician Kunal Ghosh. Before I start our discussions, two observations. One, how less we bother about our country, how less patriots we are becoming by the day, how less patriots we are becoming as a nation. It just shows with the attendance of this program. Had it been about some glamour, some fashion, something else, it would have been a full house. We are talking here about history. We are talking about freedom for independence. We are not bothered anymore. As it is always said that our freedom came at the stroke of midnight when we were sleeping. It is all very often said that since our freedom came when we were sleeping, since the whole country never fought together as one, the country never understood the meaning of independence. And truly, of course, Prem Prakash brings out that the only two states which were divided later on, partitioned, are the two states who actually led the freedom struggle in this country. I'll come to that, but my second observation was, I always feel proud when my friends speak well. And look, right now, the two of my friends, Mr. Bratya and Kunal Ghosh, they just went on to prove that they are exceptions as politicians in the country. They are educated and they know their history well. Right. I go back to when I was in class 7. I remember my history teacher used to be Mr. K.K. Ray. And he used to always say that number one, history repeats itself, and number two, Indian history has not been written properly, has not been truly written. Had Indian history been truly written, then the fight of Indians' independence would have always highlighted Bengalis and Punjabis and Sikhs as the main states and Marathas. Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal writes in the review of this book a line, and I want you to start off with that. Prem Prakash has taken up an alternative view in this book. I would request you to start off with what is this alternative view that you are talking about?
It's really not an alternative view in many ways, but it is in the sense that contribution, I don't think so that, I think what at least said was loud and clear, that the contribution or the consideration by them, whether they should leave India because of Mahatma Gandhi's work and Congress at that time, he used the word minimal. That the Honorable Minister also pointed out. But he also went on to say that their problem was A, Subhash and the Ghosh. They fought very bravely at Imphal. We should never forget that fight. People from West come to see the graves, but do Indians remember them in Imphal? Do we have a memorial for them in Imphal? For all those men of iron, 26,000 of them who fell there. Do we have a memorial for them in there? No. Why? I leave it to you to think. And he said, with 40,000 troops at our disposal, an INA which was composed of men from the army, INA was being praised all over India at that time, just before independence. INA is inspiration that led to mutiny in Navy, parts of Air Force. So they realized that the victory given by the British Indian Army was not being praised. INA was being praised by India's people. That's the alternate view.
One has to be put off, then the other will come on. And we'll continue with this throughout. Yes. We are discussing about multiple tracks, but sadly we have to go through one track. In your book, you've mentioned an event, and it's very interesting, about General Shahnawaz Khan, P.K. Sehgal and G.S. Dillon, when they were acquitted and they were at the Gandhi grounds in Delhi. You were there as a child, present in that ground. I would request you to talk about that experience. You were telling me this morning that you would have almost got killed in that situation, almost have died. Yes, but yes, we would like to hear about that.
It wasn't only Delhi, but whole of India was excited. The British were very worried. They knew what the judgment could be. But before the judgment, just as the judgment was given, the army chief, Lord Auchinleck, he released the three of them. They could not have implemented that judgment. Now, they were then taken to, brought to Gandhi grounds. Whole of Delhi turned up, and Gandhi ground is a very small ground in New Delhi. Gandhi ground is a very small ground in Delhi. So when the beating ended, I was only 16-year-old boy, 15-year.
Yes, you mentioned.
And as I was coming out, there was a huge stampede. I don't know how many hundred people went over me. There were others also. I'm not the only one who was being passed over. Luckily, the police came around because the police station was nearby. It was a lathi charge when they were able to bring us out. So that was the experience, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it. I'm alive and I'm here with you.
So, in the earlier segment of your book, you have been talking about the early Bharat and arrival of the Muslims in the country. You've talked about King Porus and Chandragupta Maurya standing tall to defend the country. And then Prithviraj Chauhan defeating Muhammad Ghori in I think in 1191, yeah.
No, 1176.
1176.
The second time.
Yes. So, after which, in the second battle, Prithviraj Chauhan lost, and he lost because of a traitor. And then began that history of traitors in this country, which Bratya was mentioning a while back. That history of traitors, right from during the time of Prithviraj Chauhan to Mirzapur during Siraj, and later on even the Gadarmi movement also fell because of kind of people who played out. And not just that, there are various examples, all during the British freedom fighting for the freedom movement against the British, that it was given away. It was given away, and that's how the infiltration took place, and that's how the country went to the foreigners. And every time the country went to the foreigners, they looted us. We were talking about invaders doing the most of the loot, but what about a company which comes to do business in the country and stays back and become rulers? And I think they looted the most. Some focus and explanations of this whole thing.
You see, if Jajan had not been there, and you know who ruled us when Muhammad Gouri left? Slave dynasty. Most favorite of his slaves.
And he said correctly, Kutubuddin.
That's right. That's right. Kutubuddin. Oh, doesn't that hurt us? It hurts me very much. What's wrong with our people? What happened to Jasham? History is silent about that. I hope, because I always feel that one way of death sentence for these traitors should be, they should be brought in the square of the city and stoned to death, not hanged. They are such treacherous people. You know, a few years ago, a DSP in Punjab from Pathankot in his jeep brought the terrorists from the border, who then attacked the Pathankot air base. We have never been told the damage they caused. They caused a fair bit of damage. That guy is still in prison. What are they doing in prison?
You have explicitly talked about the Gadar movement. To and fro, we've been talking about in this book about the Punjabi and Sikh revolutionaries and revolutionaries from this part of the country, West Bengal. And beautifully, you have linked them up together, how they fought for the Battle of Independence together also. And one of the greatest examples have been Rashbihari Ghosh, and on the other side, Ajit Singh, Madanlal Dhingra, Veer Savarkar.
They're all together one.
No, but the thing is, Rashbihari Ghosh and the Gadar movement, Rashbihari Ghosh's contribution, these are the things that are highlights in your writing. What would you say about that?
See, Punjabis have always looked towards Bengal for intelligence. They can fight, but when it comes to this, it is a little less. So anyhow, when all these people gathered movement, remember they were very successful in America. They had their own lands. They were very successful. They all came away from there. Why? They wanted that the World War I, they should stop the Indians from going into the war and foil the efforts of the British in World War I. But the main line of troops had already left. Yet they did it. But when they arrived they were looking for leadership. Who did they go to? Rashbihari Bose in Benares. And it was he who then led them. And again, tragic, everything was all set. when suddenly one day, Raj Bihari Bose found a fellow named Kirpal Singh loitering at the railway station. He said, "What are you doing here?" He was supposed to be somewhere else. He took him in his hand with himself, thoroughly questioned him, and he was now aware that he had given away everything to the government and the police. And that was tragic. Raj Bihari Bose then, he stayed as long as he could, but then he moved away, went back to Chandranagore, and then on to Japan.
Name as Priyanath Tagore.
Yes, Ian Tagore.
And who helped him? R.N. Tagore.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, Raj Bihari Bose had an escape route. He had a journey from, he went over to Banaras, from Banaras then he went over to Japan. And
From Banaras, he went over to Chandranagore,
Chandranagore
changed his name,
to Tagore.
facial thing.
You have said that Raj Bihari Bose was very good in disguise.
This guy.
And then finally to Japan.
Yes.
So, when Raj Bihari Bose actually reached Japan, there's a segment where you write that for 3 years, he was actually, it took him 3 years to convince the Japanese government and, the rule that they should support the cause.
Yes.
And actually it was Raj Bihari Bose who led the platform, the whole dais of the freedom struggle for Netaji Subhash Bose. Later on, of course, Raj Bihari Bose asked Netaji Subhash Bose to come over and take it.
It was his work in Japan has never been mentioned in the way, whatever I could research and find out, I mentioned. But I think he did far more than what I even mentioned. And but for him, he had already formed a small INA. It was he who invited Netaji that what are you doing in Europe? Japanese are getting closer to India. They are with us, you come over here. And then Netaji took that 10 years journey in a submarine, 39 days in a submarine to reach Japan, took charge of the INA, carried it forward. And what can I go a little further?
Yes, please.
We are here to hear from you.
You see, why our relations with Japan are so good today? Basically, the provisional government of India that was formed by Netaji had been recognized by 9 nations.
In a new Cathay.
Yes, at that time. And those agreements, he was honoring everything. And later on, you will find in the book towards the end, when MacArthur wanted to put the Japanese leadership on trial, Justice Paul went from Calcutta.
Radha Vinod Pal.
And when he arrived there, the other judges told him, the British and the American, that we have worked out and we'll do this. He said, no, I've not been a party to it. I haven't heard anything like that. I'll go and listen to the whole thing myself carefully. He won over 2 other judges on his arguments. And MacArthur was expecting the trial to be over in under 6 months. It lasted over 2 years. And at the end of it, Justice Paul acquitted all of them. He said whatever they had done, was nothing to be compared with what Hitler's Germany did to Jews. After Jews were killed in gas chambers and so on, they couldn't show any gas chamber or how Japanese killed anybody. They were talking about lynching. He said, give me proof. Whatever happened in lynching happens in war anywhere. That can be a war crime, but not crime against humanity. He quitted all of them. Today, his bust stands in the memorial in the war memorial of Japan. In the many cities I have seen it myself, streets are named after him. A few years ago, when Japanese Prime Minister Abe was visiting India, he flew specially to Calcutta to meet his grandson and also visit Netaji's library.
So also Rajbihari Ghosh's call for Asia for Asians, that impressed the Japanese a lot. So that is there, and there are, now we come to directly to, you have been actually extremely direct in pointing out that India has always given credit that the National Congress, Indian National Congress and Mahatma Gandhi, their efforts brought India the independence, which you have denied. You have clearly denied, and you have clearly said that it is basically the freedom fighters who actually did it.
You see, while saying that, I also said they had a role. They played a role. For example, Congress was basically a club till Mahatma Gandhi appeared on the scene, and he turned it into a movement. And thereafter, it is basically while that movement made the people in the villages countrywide aware that these foreigners are ruling us and we have to get rid of them. But the life was made miserable by the revolutionaries. So the two had their roles to play, but in different forms.
And there's another aspect to this book, which is very interesting. That when we are discussing about the freedom fighters and that their struggle for Indian independence, they have also side by side had lot of contribution to the future of the country. Whether it's from Punjab, whether it's from this state, there has been immense contribution to the future of this country. Things like Lala Lajpat Rai setting up, because he envisaged that the free India would require banks. And he tried to set up banks, and that's how the Punjab National Bank came up. Or Netaji setting up the insurance company, Tropical Insurance Company, yes. And prisoners fighting for the status of political prisoners as freedom fighters. Rajbihari Ghosh fighting for Asia for Asians. So there had been parallelly, to create the new India, these people had incredible contribution.
There is no doubt about that.
I want you to be...
There is no doubt about that, because the Japanese were impressed when Rajbihari Bose said Asia for Asians. And Japanese took it forward. Although the Burmese had some doubts, because wherever Japan went in Asia, it set up a government or allowed the local people to set up a government. But it happened in Burma also, so I don't know about the other areas. In all other areas, those governments are more or less independent. with the Japanese setup with close relations with Japan. Bound to be. Only Burma, Aung San had some doubts, but they definitely implemented Asia for Asians.
There was a time when Udham Singh's Act was criticized by Jawaharlal Nehru when Udham Singh actually avenged Odair. Jawaharlal Nehru said that he's done a foolish thing. Gandhiji wrote to Rabindranath Tagore that Subhas is acting like a spoiled kid. Why was it this fight for Indian independence, when people were laying down their lives, why was it such political statements being made?
One can attribute it to political jealousy, one can attribute it to the fact that they could not understand. They were too confident that British can be talked out of India. Because that is exactly what non-violent struggle was trying to achieve. And we have seen what Attlee said at the end of it. Minimal. It was not going to achieve independence. I am very confident that non-violent struggle by Gandhiji or Congress was not going to achieve independence, that it has been aided, helped and done only by these revolutionaries who made life miserable for the British government at many points. Now, perhaps that is why you find this history has been ignored. Is there any mention in post-independent India about all these people you asked? It's a pity that we have an empty house. But otherwise, I would, even others who are sitting here, I would ask a question. Who raised the flag at Red Fort on 15th August 1947? Those who have read the book, please don't answer. But those who have not read the book, can you answer who raised the flag at Red Fort on 15th August 1947? You asked?
Jawaharlal Nehru.
That's the obvious answer.
Chaliye. Any other? Okay. Let me tell you. It was raised by General Shahnawaz because the leadership, when these three generals of INA were being tried, had used the INA to the hilt to take credit by fighting for their case. Little did they realize that there was going to be no case as such. They didn't win the case, they lost the case. It was the people of India who won the case. And they were released. And Shah Nawaz insisted and got it right. The flag in the evening is, when sundown, the flags are lowered. So on 14th August, Union Jack was lowered. Early sunrise, General Shah Nawaz raised the flag.
Yes, and we'll come to the talk about the partition at the end of our discussion. Before that, just a couple of more things we would like to highlight. Let me tell you, for all out here who have not read this book, this is a very lucidly written book, and you'll feel like reading it. It's quite a page turner. Don't kind of think that it's a book on history and it would be boring, because it talks about us. It talks about people whom we know, people of whom we have heard of, and we've read, and it gives new informations. You know, to write and give new information about history of Indian independence in 2025 is not so easy. For example, we have known that Khudiram was one of those young fighters, freedom fighters, who was hanged to death. But here, Prem Prakash mentions Basant Vishwas, Vashunto Vishwas. How many of us know about it? Basant Vishwas was from Chandanagar, and he was hanged to death at the age of 16. So, you know, the research in this book has been incredible, and definitely in today's time, I think it stands as a great read, and you know, a book of information that we must. I had one question while reading the book, and this is something which always had, is that during this whole struggle for independence, we've seen specific geographical areas through which the revolutionaries have gone, they have fled, they have gone to take. Why has it been so that right from Lahore to Banaras, to Kolkata, Chattogram, Imphal, Japan, there's a kind of a route that works out, and that has always been the favorite route of these revolutionaries.
But the greatest route was taken by Netaji
Yes.
when he went to Europe. It's a fantastic journey. You will read all about it here.
So there is one mention that he does, I want to read from this book, where he says, it is sad that Nehru did not visit the memorial of the raising of the Indian National Army in Singapore. It is said that he was asked by Lord Mountbatten not to go there. It is suggested by most historians that Mountbatten had managed to convince Nehru during his stay in Singapore that the solution of India's independence lay in its partition. It is a very strong note to write.
I have also given further explanation to it. I am not the only one. Maulana Azad, who was the president of the Congress, he complains in his book that when Nehru came back from Singapore, he never reported to him. Sir, if I am the president and you go somewhere from the same party, are you not supposed to come back and report to me? Nehru never reported to Maulana Azad as to what happened in Singapore.
When was this? What time?
This was just before independence. And it is said, because the local population wanted him to visit the INA memorial, Mountbatten advised him not to do that. Later on, Mountbatten had the INA memorial blown up. What you see now when you go to Singapore, that stands, that was rebuilt. It was rebuilt.
This actually, by and large, touches many sore points in the history of our struggle. It makes us emotional, And definitely I can say that this book is a wonderful read, and it would bring a lot of pleasure to people of West Bengal to see them highlighted, because this has not been highlighted about us. It has never been highlighted nationally. However much we talk about within our state, however much our Chief Minister keeps repeating that it has been the Punjab and West Bengal and the Marathas who have actually fought. But it is never highlighted in the history of the country,
You see,
nationally.
all I can say is, I've said very clearly, it's very unfortunate, but the fact is, this book is a tribute to Bengal. This book is a tribute to Bengal. Bengal's contribution is twice than that of Punjab. Punjab follows Bengal. They've been together. There are other people also in the country. South Indians were very early. Go ahead.
Thank you for accrediting us and bringing out the real truth. And we would like to end up with one question I have. No, we'll take questions. We'll definitely take questions. I have one question to you. I said in the very beginning that here's one person who stands tall. And he stands tall because we hardly come across people who are so passionate, who would be so patriotic, who would be so full of this vigor and love for the country. But the question is, he stands tall at what age? What do you think his age is?
Oh, come on. That's not a question.
93, 93.
He is 95, and I think he deserves a standing ovation that he has kind of. Thank you.
You're embarrassing me.
It's not an embarrassment, but I think, listen.
Thank you.
I think, listen, I think we need more people like him in this country, who would show us the right, the right direction, who would actually promote the right direction.
But sir, only one question from me now. Empty hall. How will you make sure that this book gets known to people of Bengal?
We'll talk about it.
promote.
We'll talk about
I
it.
think there's the media and this thing, it would be very well covered, and from PKF, it would be sent over to you because they are excellent with their media skills.
Because if Bengal doesn't get to know it,
yes.
India won't get to know it.
And I think also that we could do with a couple more of sessions like this in various, maybe we'll get in touch with you and see what best we can do. Yes. So we'll take questions. Yes, please.
There can be traitors who are not actual traitors. They were against some section of people, which people thinks that they are the representative of India. Because the concept of India was never a monolithic, unified concept. Some people, actually, just for an example,
Come back again.
actually there can be a possibility that these people who are generally called traitors, they are actually against some section of people who are representing India at that time. Because the concept of India was never a monolithic concept. It was not a unified concept. There was a party, for example, a particular party which at the helm of India government, just for example. And some people are against that party. So they are doing something unknowingly which may harm the country itself. So can they be called traitors, or can they be called against that party?
Nobody did it unknowingly.
Okay, that's just the question.
You see, don't give them credit that if somebody murders, he murders knowingly.
That's it. Yes, please.
So please take it out of your mind that anybody did it unknowingly.
I'd like to suggest those people who may not have visited, there is the Alipur Museum. Many of the things that I have learnt in today's book from you, I could recall having heard about them when I visited the Alipur Museum. Alipur Museum is very close by. It's been constructed and built only about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's worth visiting, especially for children, and lot of school children in Bengal visit it.
Very good.
Yeah, that's
Is that we need a memorial in India for all those who went to gallows laughingly for independence of India. The British built a huge war memorial in India Gate for those who fought in World War I. Why can't India build a memorial in memory of those who were hanged like this and put their names on there?
So we were discussing this with Prakash, and I think from this platform and from PKF and Kitaab, this is a proposal which can be put forward, that India, this country, needs a memorial for all its freedom fighters.
Who went to gallows.
Who went to the gallows. Who went to the gallows. And may a memorial be raised for them. Whichever part of the country, but it should be done. So I think it's a wonderful proposal that has come up from Prem Prakash, and we can put it forward. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's been a real pleasure.
The lady has a question.
One more question. Esha, you'll have to hold.
Congratulations, you have proved today that age is just a number. So many congratulations to you for that. So another question for me was, how many years did you research? Now you are telling me that you found all this information in London. The ones who had, where they tell the sun never sets over the British Empire, and they were the ones who had, taken control of our India, our country. There you found all this information which was kept safely. So how many years did you have to
It
work?
just took 2 years, not much.
So actually, we owe this because you took the initiative and you went out and thought that,
I didn't go out there, but a friend of mine, I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
I have mentioned in the book, he is the dean of a university.
Right.
He did all the research for me, and that's how we worked. We collaborated together.
No, this has really incentivized me. I need to take and be like you were telling. We'll be there to promote this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First, please. Read the book first.
Yes, of course. I'll have to.
And on behalf of Prabha Khaitan Foundation, like to express my sincere gratitude to our guest for the evening, Prem Prakash ji. Thank you for your valuable insights. Our heartfelt gratitude to the conversationalist for the evening, Mr. Arindam Sil, for steering the conversation and making it so interesting. Our heartfelt gratitude to our guests are not here now. Our chief guest, Mr. Bratya Basu, Honorable Minister of Education, and the guest of honor, Mr. Kunal Ghosh, for their presence. And on behalf of the foundation, I would also like to thank our patron, Sri Cements Limited, for their unwavering support always. And of course, to you, whoever you made it, for the ones who didn't, I think they missed out on some very, very valuable discussion, and I hope everybody gets to read the book. For those of you who are here, thank you so much for your presence, and I'm sure the author will be happy to sign.
The author is ready to sign.